Hey everybody! So, Zach Dehart here, and I'm going to give you a tutorial on rotoscoping. Now, what's rotoscoping, you ask? Well, shame on you for not knowing, but actually, just kidding. Rotoscoping, freaking simple, alright? All rotoscoping is drawing masks around specific, whatever you need to have masked out is what you're going to rotoscope, and then you go frame by frame, or make keyframes to however much it needs to keep the masking out the correct object or whatever you're trying to mask out. So that would be called rotoscoping, going frame by frame and cutting out a piece of the image that you want to affect differently or get rid of. And so for this circumstance, we're going to be doing some interesting ways to do rotoscoping on affecting specific parts of, well, what we're going to be doing is zombies, as you can see. Now there's a couple different ways that you can do this type of rotoscoping, or to get the zombie look that you need to get. See how their skin looks all gangrene and stuff, and after you apply some color correction, looks even better. Exactly. But before, none of these zombies, they didn't look anything like it. See, that's before, and that's after. So in order to get your zombies to look zombie-like, and this is of course being done without any actual zombie skin makeup. We didn't. This is for a zombie film that we are making the sequel to, Dead Summer. If you haven't seen Dead Summer, it's on our channel, and you should definitely watch it and give it a thumbs up because it's awesome. But this is The Dead Midst, which is the sequel to Dead Summer and is also the prequel to Dead Summer 2. So it's the middle story between Dead Summer and Dead Summer 2. So that you could call it, Dead Summer 1.5. Dead Summer, The Dead Midst is what the actual title is. So this is, where some zombies are chasing, me. This guy right here. I'm me. Hey, and I'm doing the visual effects and acting. Cool, aren't I? Talented JK. Well, if you think so, then thank you. Anyways, so let's just get started. Let's get started with the rotoscoping, and I'll save the bullshit for the end. Okay, here we go. So, what you would need to do first is import your footage, and I already have my footage imported footage imported right here, and this is just the shot of zombies chasing me and me running away in desperate fear and hope to survive. So, as you can see, almost got me. And a lot of other stuff is going to be done to this shot. I'm not going to say what it is, but you'll find out when you see it. So, yeah. So you need to import your footage. Whoa. Import your footage. Then, once your footage is imported, then you drag it down to create a new composition, and then once it's in the composition timeline, then you get started. So, mine's already imported. What you need to do is you'll go to the base plate, the base footage, and you'll want to make a duplicate. So, copy or edit, duplicate. Then you'll have two of the same files, or two of the same clips overlapping each other. And so I'm going to delete this one because I already have plenty duplicated, as you can see. And once you have them duplicated, then you begin masking. And so let's go down to the one that we've been working on, or that I've been working on for the past, however long. This takes a long time, and for your information, if you're going to be rotoscoping, I suggest that you have a lot of patience, because even I don't have a lot of patience sometimes, and it just gets very tedious. it's a very tedious task, and you know, you gotta do it if you want it to be good. You gotta do it, and then once it's over, it'll be over. So it's tedious, though, I assure you that. So I'm gonna go over to where we already have my masks drawn, and to give you an idea, these are masks that I've already drawn around the body parts that I want to affect, that I want to change the color of. And see, if I go over to my effects panel and I have my specific clip selected, this duplicate layer right here is the whole image, but I cut out just these parts, and then I've added color corrections to those parts, as you can see, to manipulate the colors of her skin tone to make it look zombified, as you can see. And I have to do that with all these zombies. And it gets a little bit complicated when you have stuff in the way of them. For example, these poles and other people, you know, crossing over each other's paths. It just gets a bit complicated, and you know, you have to make multiple masks, or you have to do something which with the rotobrush right here, rotobezier, and that is a little bit more difficult sometimes, depending upon what your shot is. Sometimes it's way easier. Like for this zombie right here, this big guy, I did rotobrush all over his skin. I didn't use any you know, traditional masking. I just used the rotobrush the entire time. But that was because throughout the entire shot, he has been in focus. But you see, in some shots, the zombies go out of focus, and when you're doing rotobrush, that makes it a lot harder for the rotobrush to track wherever the skin is or wherever the outline is that you need to edit or correct or get rid of, mask out. So yeah, it has to be in focus, or I mean, being in focus will help it, you know, be a lot easier. Otherwise, you might as well just, you know, traditionally mask like I'm doing now. So with traditionally masking, you're going to want to create your points. You're going to want to start off in here. This is what it looks like actually when I've animated all the points to move, and they're moving along with the person, or the where I want to affect. So with all it moving, see, it looks like that. But it doesn't just get that way on its own. You have to do it manually. So I'm going to go back a few keyframes for you so I can just, you know, make an example. So with masking, what you're going to want to do is go up here and select the pen tool. Make sure that you have your layer selected, the correct layer that you want to get, which is layer 7 of the same clip for me right here. And once you have that selected, because if you don't select it, then you're just going to create a shape layer, and then you're just going to be all pissed off, and it's going to suck, because then you have to delete it and all sorts of other stupid things. So anyways, excuse me, pen tool. You will start clicking around the parts that you want to, you know, let's go full res so we can see it better. You want to start clicking around all the parts that you need masked out. So here we go. Click, click, click. And it won't be perfect for the purposes of tutorials. So, and because I'm just going to delete this anyway once it's done. So start drawing your mask. Get it all drawn out where you need it to be. There you go. Oh, and look at that. Color correction's already slapped on for this clip, so this mask is already being affected. Now, if we turn off the mask guidelines, you can see that this just looks like absolute crap. It has all these hard edges, and you know, it just doesn't look realistic at all. It just looks stupid. So, in order to make that better, you have to play around with it. And so what I usually do is, I mean, there's a couple different methods that you could go about doing it, but the way I do it, you know, seems pretty standard to me. So I'll just bring out the feathering just enough to where it looks like it's good. See if I toggle that back on. Then I go before, after. Of course, it's not as strong as it is without the feathering, but what the feathering is doing is, maybe, hold on. If I just, gotta go up here, solo it. And see, feathering is this, you see how it's more of a gradient right here? And it's more or less harsh. The lines aren't harsh, they're soft. And if you're a painter, I mean, you would know what feathering is. It's like blending colors together, or blending stuff together in order to get a nice even transition from one thing to another, from one color to another, from one shade to another, or whatever you're doing. This is basically just painting with a little bit more complication to it. So, when you turn the feather all the way off, you can see all these edges, all these little pixelated edges are very harsh. And it's really kind of, you know, I mean, you can see it clearly, but it just looks like crap because no one's hand is that jagged. And, you know, you don't want to waste your time making a million points, you know, every so often, like every freaking pixel. You don't want to make another point because then that's just going to take a million years. It already takes a million years on top of it to just move one frame and get it all adjusted. Feathering is perfect. And it's a lifesaver because you can, you know, get rid of that roadblock right there. And so you get that feathered, and see, this is what these layers look like isolated together. They're feathered quite a bit, but it doesn't even show up really except for on the affected layer because the target colors have been selected throughout the footage. Like, for example, the skin tones that I'm pulling out of her face and the skin tones that I'm pulling out of the blood, it's all affected in the specific area. However, it shows that it's affecting all this outside area. It's mainly affecting, you know, just the skin. So, and you know what, maybe later I can just go back and you bring some down the feathering so that way it's less, you know, wide. Oop, the phone went off. Okay, so let's go back to just the normal view. Okay, and now that we have our, you know, parameters the way we want it to be for the mask, it's time to start animating it. And so what you'll want to do is click the keyframe button for the mask path, click it, and then you'll automatically be able to start creating keyframes for how you want the movement of the mask path to go. So I'm going to delete this mask because I already have one made. Hey, buddy, I said delete or clear. What do we need? Clear that mask. Thank you. No. Okay. So I'm going to go to this mask right here, the mask I already have drawn. And I'm going to go after this. It's easier to work with, especially when you're doing video capture. So, I've got my mask drawn, and I don't know why I just changed accents. I might change accents periodically throughout videos or tutorials, so fair warning. I don't know why. I just do it. Anyways, you're going to want to start animating. Now, I already have, as you've seen, you know, animation already done for the mask movement from where I've, you know, tracked already. These are all keyframe points right here, keyframes of everything that I've tracked or moved so far. You know, sometimes I get a little tongue-tied and it's hard to figure out the word that I'm trying to look for, but I hope you get my point. So, yeah. Haha. Anyways, let's go back 4 keyframes. I usually do 4 keyframes because, or I usually go back 4 frames. I mean, you don't have to go back either, depending upon where you start. I already started somewhere out in the middle here and then worked forward until the arm was out of frame, and then went back here and started working backwards until, of course, the arm goes out of frame or I can't do it anymore. So I've moved back 4 frames, and now I need to move the mask. So we're going to move the mask over. The next thing to do is to readjust all the points. And this is the part about rotoscoping that will kill you, and that's very tedious and boring, and it really kind of just sucks. You just have to go back and readjust all of the points just the way they need to be. And I guarantee you, once you're done doing all this hard, tedious, boring work, this is honestly, I love filmmaking. I just hate rotoscoping. I cannot wait to be able to one day have a guy who likes doing this, or a girl, it could be a girl, anyone, an editor, a visual effects artist who gets paid to just sit here and rotoscope all day. I'd do it if I got paid, honestly. I just wouldn't like it, that's all. But I guarantee you they'd like it, because why else would they be doing it for a career? Anyways. That's how you do rotoscoping right there. What I just did, what I just showed you. And now if we go back, we have the previous keyframe from where it was before. There it is there. And where we moved it to now. Now in between, you might have to readjust the keyframe. See, yeah, like they don't match up all the way. The mask doesn't match up all the way with the arm, so you have to readjust it, because this is, the keyframe is telling, the previous keyframe here is telling this keyframe here to move, or it's going to move between this one and this one a certain amount. It's all computer adjusted, right? What you need to do is, if it's not going to match up evenly, then you have to go back and adjust it, because the computer doesn't know where the arm is. The computer just knows where you're moving the mask to on the coordinates of the invisible graph that you can't see, that the computer is coordinating all these points to. So we're gonna go, this is the lovely part of animation, animating things, bring them to life. Opposite of life is death, and we don't want death. Except for these zombies, they are dead, but they're alive at the same time, which is an oxymoron, and that makes the whole controversy of zombies not make any sense. But yeah, zombies, lots of them. So readjusted, gonna go forward one keyframe, see if it matches up. Doesn't match up quite the way we want it to, so we got to readjust it. Readjust. Okay, now fudge biscuits. Okay, readjust. Keep readjusting. And you know what? Some good things to do, so you don't die of boredom while you're rotoscoping, is to listen to music. Honestly, like if your computer, because this computer I just got, and it has like a crap ton of good specs. It has like 16 gigs of memory and like all sorts of different, it's got a fantastic i7 processor with hyper threading, so it's so good. Anyways, I even did it on my old Sony laptop, which had 4 gigs of RAM, a stupid Intel Pentium dual core processor, and I still did all this. It just went so much slower, but I still had to listen to music, because doing this all day is basically hell if you don't have anything to listen to. No music, no podcast. Listen to music, listen to podcasts. It'll make everything about this go so much smoother. You'll be distracted while still doing work. It's like school, School sucks. You just don't want to do anything. But if you have an iPod, if you have music, you can actually sometimes concentrate while still keeping yourself semi-entertained. It's the lovely thing about music. Music's just awesome, isn't it? Especially film music. That's the best. Anyways, who cares? I care. I hope you do. Because if you don't care, then who will? Me. Shut up, Zach. Anyways, okay. Well, we have all of our keyframes done now. See? And this is how you do rotoscoping. The old-fashioned way. Now I can show you the new-fashioned way, which is called the rotobrush. And here we go. I'm just going to hide all this. And before I get to the rotobrush, you're going to want to do all of that, everything that we just did. The keyframing, the masking, the adjusting the way it needs to look for the color, all sorts of other things. Everything that we just did, you want to repeat all of that for each limb, each body part. And of course the mask will be different for each body part. And And you're going to want to repeat all that so that way it will create your zombie skin the way you need it to look. Or maybe you don't want zombie skin, you know? Maybe you want, I don't know, maybe you want to catch on fire instantly, like here. I'll show you this. Let me go find it. This is a video that we made called Heliophobia. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's about me, well, not me, about the character who I'm playing being afraid of the sun. But anyways, watch. Okay, you see my skin, how it's all glowing hot and red? Did the same exact thing that I'm doing with the zombie effects, making their skin green. But I'm just doing it and making it look glowing, hot red, and boily, like it's going to just explode. Oh. Would you look at that? Anyways, see what I mean? I mean, this rotoscoping like this can be, you know, effective for every single way. And you know, I'm pretty sure, I mean, a lot of people out there, you know, most people out there should know that, I mean, you can do this. But I'm making this just for the heck of it because, you know, there isn't really a tutorial out there specifically for making zombie skin if you don't have zombie makeup already. So, I mean, if you're making a zombie movie or any movie that you need to affect skin tone and you don't know exactly how to do it, you don't have a way to do it, I made a tutorial now that you'll have to reference to. And so, thank me later. If you like. If you don't, just send me a cake. Because I like cake. But I don't like cake because it's bad for you. So, send me some beef jerky. There you go. Anyways, so let's go on to rotobrush. Rotobrush can be a lot more simple. I mean, what you have to do is you have to click on the footage that you want to, you know, change or manipulate. And what is going on? This isn't what I signed up for. Oh, maybe it's because I have the effects. Yeah, I have the effects selected. So, anyways, I can just show you a quick example of how to do roto brushing within the same. You know what? Why don't I save this first, just in case I screw it up, which I don't want to do. Okay, always save. Save is a lifesaver. Always want to save. So, how to roto brush? You'll need to get your roto brush tool, which is up here, the little man being drawn on and painted. Grab that, and then you'll have the effect selected once you start drawing the outline of, or the drawing where you need to have the roto brush, you know, cut out. You'll have an effect that pops up in your effects and controls panel, and it'll give you parameters to adjust for your roto brush, what you want it to look like, or how you want the edges to be. If you want them to be soft, if you don't want them to be too jagged, if you want them to be, you know, feathered a bit. So, and what this looks like here, as you can see, I have his face completely cut out. But if I didn't have any feather on, zero feather, that's what it looks like. This is what the roto brush actually picked up when I was, you know, cutting his face out. That doesn't sound good at all. Anyways, when I was masking his face out, that's what it actually looks like. But since I feathered it, feathering, like I said earlier, is amazing. It allows me to get all of his image, and it softens the edges so that way it doesn't look so fake and it doesn't look so stupid. So now what I'm going to do is start roto brushing for you guys so that way you can see how it's done. And what you want to do is just basically go down or select, just draw a line through whatever you're trying to do. Oh, hold on, sorry, this is a frozen layer, I can't affect it yet. Okay, what I'm going to do now, hold on, hold your horses everybody, don't, okay, oh, what'd I do, oh, I know what I did, okay, turn these back on. There we go. Now I'm not scared. Okay, thank you. Let's see. What do I need? What clip could I affect differently? You know what? Let's just duplicate this. Duplicate. shit, it's 2:06. I gotta get out of here soon. Gotta finish up this tutorial quick, guys. Sorry. So after you duplicate a footage, then you can just go in and do everything I just told you to. So select your rotobrush. This is actually better because then you'll be able to see it from start. And select the area of which you want to be cut out. See, rotobrush automatically outlines the edges of what needs to be cut out or what has been selected by the tool. So, and as you can see, it has all these jagged cuts and stuff because it's not perfect. Not perfect at all. It's the computer trying to work things out for you. So thank him, or it, or she, or whatever you want, whatever weird gender you've come up for your computer. Anyways, and in order to get rid of outliers of what you don't want being selected as the image, because I'm pretty sure, I might just be talking out of my ass right now, but I'm pretty sure that Rotobrush selects edges because of luminance and possibly saturation differences. So based upon how bright or dark an edge is where it will try to line up where you want the mask to go, or based upon how saturated it is or what color it is. That's how it finds the edge. But in order to get rid of the edge, like, see, I don't know why, but it's tried to think that out here is part of what I want to select. No, I just want to get his arm. So what I'm going to do is alt click until it turns red, and then hold that down, and then just move the brush along where I just do not want it to go, and see, it comes back and finds the luminance or the saturation, whatever it's being adjusted by, and creates the edge where you want it to be, or where it should be, at least. Not where you want it to be, but where it should be. And you just kind of got to readjust sometimes. Just get it all as close to perfect as you can get. I mean, perfect probably won't happen. Doesn't exist in life, but as close to perfect, that's always good too. So, missed a spot right here on his shoulder. Don't want to forget that, because if he has some weird patch of skin showing, that's just gonna look weird. Anyways, it might already be showing, but whatever. Then what you can do is you can go over to your parameters, and I said that weird, sorry. Go over to your parameters and adjust the feather. Get it nice and soft. Let's go to about 35. And we can take down the contrast quite a bit, because we don't need a harsh edge for skin, because when you're looking at a body part in a 2D's perspective, everything looks 3D when it's 2D. Doesn't make any sense, but everything has 3 dimensions to it. As you can see, this is a cylinder, this is a seat or something. It has an angle to it, and this might just be a giant pentagon. I'm not sure. Anyways, everything has geometry to it in your footage. So it's sometimes hard for the computer to define what the geometry actually is, especially if it's a human arm. In the human arm, it has round curves on it, or the human body has curves and stuff all over. It's not like jagged and rigid like the lines on these poles over here. It's got smoothness to it. So when you're masking and roto brushing, the smoothness will make sense, because the edges aren't going to be harsh. The edges aren't going to be spot on. They're going to have fault to it. And when you're trying to make the color for it, you don't want the edges to be so harsh, like we were showing, like I showed earlier with the traditional masking. So hope that point got across clear. If it didn't, I'm sorry. I'm terrible at talking sometimes. So the great thing about Rotobrush is that it will automatically try to track what, see right here, it's not perfect. There's stuff out here that we wouldn't really want to color correct, but for the purposes of tutorials, I'm not gonna freaking worry about it. So the computer is gonna try to track frame by frame where you want the mask to move. So let's go frame forward. See, it moved, but it doesn't go exactly, you know, the way you want it to. It goes the way it thinks it does because of the geometry issues that we have between 3D and 2D, of course. So yeah, stupid bullshit. Oops, excuse my mouth. Then what you have to do is just like you do with the traditional masking. You have to readjust it. You have to go back and adjust the points. You have to get it all lined up with the body part and the arm, the bench, whatever you're masking out or affecting. In this case, an arm. And same with the rotobrush. You have to go back and you have to brush in what you want to be selected. And then once that's done, once it looks the way it did before, then you just go frame forward and you do it all again. Just do it all again. So have these 2 frames done. And then there's a million more, and the rotobrush of course has to screw up because it's not perfect, but nothing is perfect. So that is how you do masking and rotoscoping. I haven't used the word the whole entire tutorial, I don't think. Wow, funny me. Yep, rotoscoping and masking and all sorts of different things. This is how you do it, and you know, it just takes a lot of patience, a lot of time, concentration, and eventually, in the end, you know, it's a well worth image. Like, look at his skin; it just looks so zombie-like compared to what it did before. Like before, that's what it looked like, just a normal human being skin, and then it looks zombie-like. And that's what we're trying to pull off. We want it to look zombie-like because, you know, we wanted to step up a little bit between what we did with Dead Summer. I mean, Dead Summer was kind of just, we winged it a lot, you know, it was just for fun. This one, we wanted to do it because people liked it, and we want to make something more impressive. So, we want to make zombies that look like zombies. And that will be it for the tutorial, I guess. I hope you learned how to rotoscope. I hope it gave you some ideas of how you can use rotoscoping in the future for whatever you want to do, whatever projects you want to do. And I hope it, if you need to come back and look at it, it's always here. And I hope it, you know, helps you out. So, some information on the Dead Midst. I know that if you have pledged to the Dead Midst when we were doing our fundraising for it, we have, you know, specific rewards for how much you pledge or whatever. Kind of like how Kickstarter does it, but it wasn't on Kickstarter. You will still be getting your rewards, trust me. I mean, the film isn't out yet. You'll get your rewards after the film comes out. You'll get the t-shirt, you'll get the Blu-ray, you'll get the name and the credit, the whatever you pledged for, you know. You'll get all that in time. Just be patient, as you got to be patient while you're rotoscoping, and in the end, it'll be all worth it. So, I am Zach Dehart from CRR Films. I hope you watch the rest of our videos and enjoy them, and I hope you have a great day, and that'll be it. See you later, guys.